Let's talk about another wound. The Team USA, it's been about a month since they knew that they would not be going to the 2018 World Cup in Russia with their loss to Trinidad and Tobago. And just the other day, their 19-year-old superstar Christian Pulisic, he penned a very powerful, profound letter to the Players Tribune talking about his experience so far, talking about how much the loss hurt, but also talking about his goals for the future and how he's very excited for that future. So Martino, we will put the link to the article in the description here, but I think his words were very, very telling. What did you make of his suggestions? One of the things he did talk about was, for Team USA, which is obviously trying to build players for the future, he believes that 16 to 18-year-old window is a peak period for young players. But Martino, you read the letter. What did you make of it?
I thought Christian had some good points. I mean, we talked about all the time the lack of talent, and who better to ask than the most talented player that USA has ever had? What did we do right with him? What was going right with Christian Pulisic that we missed on other guys like Freddie Adu or Julian Green? I mean, because there's been some big misses. I mean, I just saw on Old Takes Exposed, it's a Twitter account, and they were showing there was a match between Freddie Adu and Messi back then, and they were talking about how Freddie Adu was around the teenager years that Christian Pulisic was referring to, and they were talking about how Messi was doing better in certain areas, but Freddie Adu was so good. But what happened in that time between 14 and 18 that Freddie Adu wasn't doing that Messi was? Not saying that it really was the same talent level, but why was there such a dramatic drop-off between the two? Why hasn't the USA been able to produce that? I mean, we talked about the gap before. I mean, Clint Dempsey, early to mid-30s. Where's the guy in between? We don't have anything until Christian Pulisic, who's still a teenager. I thought it was telling about his experience about being able to get the best coaches. And he talked about how he had to work his tail off. He didn't refer to himself as the most talented player. He was just talking about, oh yeah, I was one of the average guys. But the level of competition that he was describing when he went to Europe, how much better it was the average player compared to over here. And I played with guys over here as well that have come from another country, Europe specifically. They come over here, they're outstanding compared to everyone else, and everyone's asking, oh, how are you so good? He's like, I'm nothing back at home. I'm just an average player. I don't stand out. So it's clearly telling on what's going on over here. We don't have the same resources. We don't have the same coaching. But we got one, right? And if we can get one, I think we can get others. And I think if we listen to Christian just a little bit, take apart what he was saying, because I mean, passports don't work that way. You have your dual citizenship to Croatia, so that's just you. Not other guys aren't as fortunate, but I thought it was telling how at 16 years old, he talked about the opportunity he had to go over there. I think we start our guys too young. Too many players are going to college. Meanwhile, you're from 18 to 22 in college. Guys like that are already dominating on Europe. We talked about some of them just before. We saw Messi scoring a hat trick in the Bernabeu. So it's something that we could look at. It's something we could take note of. But at the same time, it's going to be a while. Not everyone's going to be a Christian Pulisic. And I think we need to relax on the expectations a little bit. But I think it's important to have someone so young really talk about what needs to be done or what he sees.
Nothing brings out the passion more than talking about the World Cup, and we are just getting closer and closer, and it will get better and better day by day. That is it for this episode of Soccer Showdown, everyone. As always, Martino Puccio and Joe Archino. We'll see everybody in the next episode.